When it comes to their own computer, they're talking about the holidays, I suppose, because Dfinity, very recently, even though nothing I say is financial advice, they made a post saying happy holidays, everyone. And I like seeing that, hopefully, happy holiday as well when it comes to Dfinity and its team. However, my perspective is this. People like to tell me, why am I even like talking about this, right? What does it even matter? Because I think, first of all, it shows effort. I think it showcases also that they still care, I think, about the community. And also on top of that, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, they also kind of highlight in this post, in which case they kind of showcase what they did this year in a very brief way. They talked about how they've made strides, for instance, in scale, in capability, in collaboration, and as well as ambition. And I think this right here kind of perfectly sums up 2025 when it comes to Dfinity and also to a certain extent the Internet Computer. Now, ICP is not doing the best. As of right now, it's still around $3. It's not doing the best, really, I think, if anything. But I'm saying, despite all that, though, I think fundamentally, I can't really say that it hasn't really done much because when I take a look at Caffeine AI, I think that right there is a pretty big milestone, right? A self-writing apps platform. Not to mention, I take a look at kind of the more of this sort of emphasis that Dfinity is putting towards things being fully on chain when it comes to their computer, which I think makes it a little bit different than some other projects out there that may not have this focus of things wanting to fully run on chain or even aspects of that. And also, when I take a look at it, I think their ambition has also grown, right, when compared to before, because when I was thinking about the Internet Computer initially, I wasn't thinking about AI, but because of the updates they make and because of the things I see them doing, at least when it comes to the case of Dfinity, I now more kind of associate the Internet Computer as something that has an AI sort of aspect. So that right there is why, overall, I would say that from the fundamental standpoint of view, I'm a fan of what they did in 2025, but in terms of the hypothetical price of ICP, it's just not doing the best. But that could be said with a lot of other projects too. It's not only just the Internet Computer, right? A lot of them just haven't really done much in 2025. However, even besides all that, kind of my perception is that when it comes to Dfinity, I'm still a fan of what they're trying to do. And especially heading into 2026, they're starting it off with an event, right? At least in January 20th. If we take a look at it, the World Computer Day event in January, again, 20th in 2026. So yeah, that's next year, right? But that's going to be in Switzerland. They're having, professors, people in the academic space allegedly going to be talking in that event, or should I say speaking in that event. So I find that pretty interesting. Maybe that's a good moment to kind of have some more collaborations and sort of more ideas that they could probably, I think, work towards. So overall, when I take a look at ICP, I mean, I get it, right? It's not doing the best, but at least I'm not disappointed from a fundamental standpoint of view in 2025. I think if anything, it kind of lays down the foundation and the kind of groundwork for maybe what the Internet Computer could be viewed as entering into 2026. Because had an altcoin season occurred this year, for whatever reason, it clearly did not, but I'm saying in a make-believe scenario, had it happened like in the past, sometime around this year, I think the narrative of the Internet Computer wouldn't have been as prominent when compared to if, let's say, it happened later. Let's say there was an altcoin season later on. Who knows if that could ever even be the case, but I'm saying in a hypothetical. Because if it happened, let's say, in May of this year, the narrative for AI when it comes to Internet Computer wouldn't have been as dynamic as it is right now. You know what I mean? Also, if it happened, let's say, early in 2025, like the notion of caffeine AI and all this type of stuff wouldn't have been really kind of considered when it comes to the Internet Computer and as well as Dfinity. So in my perspective, if there was one later, now that we have caffeine AI right now, that there's more of this narrative when it comes to AI, when it comes to ICP, I like it actually arguably a lot more dynamically if that was the case as opposed to maybe if it happened earlier. Because now, again, the narrative when it comes to your computer, I think fundamentally seems a little bit better than before. But that's just my point of view. However, when I take a look at the Internet Computer as well, kind of my sort of reaction to what I've seen so far when it comes to Dfinity is that at least they're still caring. I think at least they're still putting effort and they're still putting some attention towards the Internet Computer, because if they weren't, why would they be updating? Why would they be talking about the holidays? And also on top of that, why would they still be working towards trying to improve things, right? I don't see them giving up when it comes to caffeine AI. I don't see them giving up about trying to push this narrative about things being able to hypothetically run fully on chain, right? When it comes to Dfinity. So this is overall something I'm a fan of when it comes to their progress fundamentally. Now, I think that sometimes people often kind of ignore the Solana and ICP integration, which actually I think is probably as a result of Solana also not doing the best, but also the computer not doing the best. But actually, if there was an altcoin season, if let's say the sentiment when it comes to altcoins were better, I feel like something like that would actually be viewed as in a higher regard, right? Because Solana is just a very popular layer one blockchain. So seeing an integration when it comes to ICP2, something like that, I think that's pretty fascinating for me to see because it's not the usual that a project would usually do something like that because a lot of projects out there in the internet computer's position, they would view Solana as a competitor, which it actually kind of is if you think about it, right? Solana and ICP, it is basically competitors, but at least at the same time, the internet computer, or should I say Dfinity, they have this sort of mindset where it's like, why work against something that's already popular? Like if there's this sort of intent to have this sort of long-term adoption when it comes to this blockchain technology space, if there's this intent for sort of longevity when it comes to this space, if there's just too many projects out there competing with one another, what's the point? Why not kind of work towards a common goal, right? So in my point of view, I think that Dfinity, at least, doing what they did, and I see, let's say, the Solana and ICP integration, I think that's very commendable. And I think it shows the foresight and the forward-thinking mindset of Dfinity. Because they could have easily not done that. Like, why would it even care? Or should I say, why would it even matter, right? Like, I didn't see a lot of people asking for that, but they kind of preemptively did that anyways. So I do like seeing that when it comes to the internet computer. And also on top of that as well, my sort of perception is that when it comes to ICP, I mean, yeah, okay, it's around 33 times lower than $100, but personally, if I am able to, let's say, in a make-believe scenario, dollar cost average at a lower market cap, I don't know why I would complain. If I could dollar cost average at a lower point, and I actually like the fundamentals of a project, would I be necessarily complaining? I don't think I would. If I just want to use a totally different example, like I'm not even saying it's related to this, right? I'm just saying in like a real life sort of example. If let's say I like this, flannel shirt at like 100, but then suddenly there was like a discount to like 50, would I be complaining if I actually liked it? I don't think I would. That's just my mindset, right? But besides that point though, as of right now, I'm just still staying patient. I mean, 2025 so far hasn't really been that exciting, I guess, when it comes to this space. I mean, we've seen some moments of brilliance, but it's really nothing like reminiscent of a 2021 type of altcoin season or something like that. So personally for me, will we ever even see an altcoin season during this cycle? That remains to be seen. I'll wait and see what happens in 2026. But in the meantime, though, I'm still going to be making updates when it comes to your computer. And if something comes up, or if they make a new announcement when it comes to Dfinity or something like that, I'll hopefully make a video on that and just, talk about my feelings towards that and my reaction and just kind of my perspective. But in the meantime, all I can do is just wait. I mean, that's about it, right? I mean, there's like over 600 million owners within this space. I'm just like one out of the many that are still waiting. I can't do anything. Assuming that a lot of them are waiting, but I'm saying if there's over 600 million holders, I mean, at least they're still waiting, right? I guess. But then besides that point, though, I'm still waiting as well. I can't do anything about this. Whatever this space does in 2026, whether it is not positive or positive, it will do it regardless of me, right? Whether I hold or not, ICP is going to do its thing. Whether I hold or not, this space is going to do its thing. So I'm just in this mindset where I'm just going to wait. That's it. Because if I know that things are going to happen with or without me, I'm just going to be waiting because I'm curious to see what could happen. But yeah, I'm not telling anyone to anything, but I just wanted to make this video talking about Dfinity, wishing, I guess, happy holidays towards everyone. And I want to say happy holidays as well. And I want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I'll make more updates. And yeah, that's pretty much it for right now, and I hope you all have a very nice day.